one guy has heard of the birds, and that's our good buddy Tom Verducci, Roger McGuinn and all. Tom's all over that. He's also all over the voices of the game. Him and Costa's superb. Very good Monday night with Mel Allen and Red Barber. Great footage, good sound stuff. They were outstanding throughout the winter. Hello, Tommy. How are you today, pal? Okay?
I am great, Chris. That's been such a fun series to do. We're going to have some more without a doubt.
Oh, it was excellent. Gowdy and Kubek, and of course this last one, I saw Al Michaels. I saw a lot of them. Okay, you heard my brush back here. Things that we'd like to see here as far as the 2021 season is concerned. I thought right to you. What's the one thing that's doable that, and I don't expect you to play doctor with the vaccines, but what's one thing that you think is reachable that would be a positive for the sport as we get ready here to start spring training and get ready for opening day in April? What's the one thing you'd like to see?
Well, what you combined, the universal DH and the expanded postseason. I mean, I'll go back to last year. We didn't really get those nailed down until right before opening day. I think it's going to be the same thing, Chris, because it makes too much sense for both sides to have the DH in the National League. Now, I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather have a diversity of style in each league, but I understand that, pitchers, they haven't really hit for the last 4 or 5 years. They've stopped hitting, period. And they literally stopped hitting last year where they didn't hit. So I'm not really hot on the idea of getting them back in the batter's box because it's been declining, diminishing returns. And I do like the idea of the postseason. I think it makes a lot of sense for the players and the union here. Why not give more players a chance at the postseason? I like the idea of 7 teams in each league. Reward the team with the best record with a bye in the first week. So that keeps the incentive to really, keep playing, not only win your division, but have the best record in the league. So I think those things are doable. And I would say your point about better relations with the union and MLB, that's number one. I don't know if it's going to be possible to have that anytime soon, but in terms of importance, that's number one.
Do you think if there is no progress, we don't sense it, do you think it creates a pall over the year, or do you think people won't pay too much attention into, say, next November? What's your take on that?
No, I think it does put a pall over the year because people already are starting to talk about, well, what happens if there's a work stoppage next year? We've just went through a season where because of the pandemic, we only played 60 games. The fans were, not there for the regular season. People are getting out of the habit of showing up and going to a ballpark. We want them back. Baseball needs them back. And I think if you keep threatening them with the fact that baseball is going to be shut down this time by a labor stoppage, that will cast the pall on the season. So I think that the rhetoric has to be toned down, but more importantly than that, there really has to be progress between these two sides. And maybe, the universal DH and the expanded postseason to help us get there.
All right, let's do the expanded postseason for a sec. Now, I agree, the 7, you're probably not going to get the second and third divisional winners in each league getting a bye, as obviously the number 1 teams will. Do you think it's a little unfair? Let's say a second-place team in the NL, the Mets, they win 101 games. The Dodgers win 103, but because the Dodgers had the best record, the Mets are stuck playing a best-of-3 in a first round with 100 wins against a team that barely made the playoffs with 78, 80 wins. Is that fair for the big-time divisional winner that doesn't have the best record? That's a negative. Let me hear your take on that. Go ahead.
That's not fair, but, we can't come up with a system where, everything is perfect, Chris. There's going to be downsides to anything you come up with, including what we have now. I like the idea that, like I said, of rewarding the team with the best record, understanding that the schedules are different. We're never going to have a homogeneous schedule. Everybody's playing the same strength of schedule. That's okay. We don't have to be perfect with everything that we do. I like the idea of the number 1 team gets to pick which team they want to play, going forward, coming out of the wild card round. I just think there's a lot to be gained by expanded postseason. I don't think it's a disincentive to win. I actually think it's an incentive for teams to win. Because if you're a GM now, Chris, and there's more teams that can get in, it's hard to tell your fan base that you can't put together a team to win 86 or 7 games, which puts you in the mix for a playoff spot. So I think it's a rising tide for all boats in MLB. I don't think teams will say, I'm not going to spend now.
100% right. I mean, no way somebody's going to not try to, especially in baseball where there's always, this is not the NBA where, the Lakers don't lose it in a first-round playoff series. You can beat anybody in baseball in a short series. You and I both know that. What's your take on the last
Chris,
couple days?
We're seeing that a little bit here. Chris, you mentioned the Dodgers, maybe coming back a peg. I think we're starting to see that terms of the competitiveness, like a lot of teams have. The Dodgers signed Trevor Bauer because the Padres got a lot better this winter. Full stop. That's it. I mean, he's a good pitcher, best pitcher on the market. I get it. They didn't need him until the Padres stepped up. They're both trying to win the division, not just get to the postseason and actually get farther in the postseason as well. So I think that competition is there. And I think the Dodgers-Padres, man, that could be a mini version of Yankees-Red Sox, because you're going to see the same star players for the next 2-3 years going at it head-to-head. Listen, I think that rivalry is going to be good, not just for Southern California, all of baseball.
That's a good job. All right, what's your take on the last couple of days as far as them trying to deflate the ball a little bit and get more balls in play? Anything there is a positive for me. In your eyes, does this make any discernible difference? What's your take on that? Go ahead.
Hey, it's worth a shot, Chris. We're at the point now where the game it keeps asking people to invest more time to see less action. That is just a bad formula. And every trend line I've looked at and you've looked at, strikeouts, balls in play, time between balls in play are really not good. If you watch the last 26 minutes of the clinching game of the World Series last year, 26 minutes, you saw 2 balls put in play. And I don't think that's something that's out of the ordinary. It's too much of a strikeout-dependent game. So if we can incentivize hitters to put the ball in play and not just swing for home runs, that's a good thing. And hopefully this is what the baseball will do. Now, I got one other idea for you, Chris. I don't know how you feel about the runner on second base in extra innings. I wasn't big on it when I first heard the idea. I liked it when I saw it, though, because it brought strategy into the game. Here's what I would do going forward. When we get to the 10th inning, runner on second base, reset the lineup. Go to the top of the lineup. Look at overtime in football, hockey, and in basketball, right? You reset the game. What's really important for me is you get the best hitters up there. I want Tatis and Betts and Trout and Harper batting in the 10th inning. I'm going to stick around to see how the game ends, and chances are it will end because, as you know, generally the highest scoring inning of a game is the first inning. Why? That's when you can set your lineup for maximum run production. So I'm okay with a runner on second base. We're changing rules here, so why not have everybody start fresh? Reset the game, top of the lineup, top of the 10th, bottom of the 10th.
That's an excellent point. I'm okay with that. No problem with it. Tommy, well done. Keep up the good work. Voices of the game, a hell of a job. Appreciate a few minutes here today.